And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Astra. Of course, here with me now is
Y2K, and we are now, I think this is the semifinals already.
Yes, this is
for Mobile Esports Arena Vainglory 5v5 tournament for the month of April.
And again, teams fighting for that grand prize of 20,000 pesos. Second,
that's a lot.
Exactly. First place or first runner-up will be 15,000, and second runner-up will be 20,000 or 10,000. Not 20,000, because that would be the first place.
Yeah.
The champions, rather. And double checking. I don't think. Oh, yeah. We're not going to be casting the match between Chewy and Elite 8. It's going to be
Bren Esports
and Team Impale. Yeah, exactly. So Bren and Team Impale. So if we're ready to actually start the draft, let's immediately go right in.
Let's go. And again, this is organized by Bren Pro, and you can follow our Facebook, facebook.com/Mobile Esports Arena. You're watching us at Twitch, twitch.tv/MesoOfficial, and the highlights and champion spotlights at youtube.com/MesoOfficial.
Yeah, where you can get all of that Vainglory goodness. And just a little heads up again for those viewers out there who are asking, is the tournament only for Vainglory? Again, we also have on other weeks of per month, I believe, Clash Royale, Hearthstone, all of the the goodness of mobile gaming.
This is the rise of the mobile esports, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. Hence, Mobile Esports Arena. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
So shortly, we will now start the match.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
While waiting, how's your day?
Pretty good. I mean, it's first time casting for this particular tournament, and I was pretty delighted at how these teams have been, performing in the tournament. Definitely, I did not I kind of did. How to say this? Like, I was really blown away by how good other teams are performing. Like, I've seen, of course, the other top teams since I've casted Seiya tournaments before, but this one's actually pretty good as well.
Oh, that was a fast one. And there's a ban already by Taka and Sony. On the other hand, we have Koshka and Cruel banned and assigned to Bren Esports.
Man, I owe Fang a candy bar. I told him that we're gonna see a Maline only once, but it seems like there still is the fear on the already existing heroes, and they're kind of saying like Maline's alright, we can deal with her, but like there was a match with an Elite 8, brought out the Maline Alpha. Never let that happen, because it's just too much.
And also, Alpha is usually automatically banned in tournament, especially in ranked matches. Let's see how they will utilize it in this time.
Yeah, she's basically like in any MOBA game, you have that hero that will always be the most difficult hero to kill, and in all difficult to kill has good damage, and I think in Vainglory that hero is Alpha.
And they didn't get the Alpha pick, they picked Rona instead.
Interesting to see that. But I think the weaknesses for Alpha here is that if she gets peeled well enough, she won't be able to actually stick to her target. And Adagio and Grace plus the Celeste, I think that's already a lot of peels, so they kind of want to be able to just will through that. And the Fortress, definitely a good answer. You do have Pack Attack and the B slot skill to use that to just gap close on your targets.
And they answered back also with a Vox picking by Team Impale. We know Vox is really versatile in this kind of lineup, especially frontline with the Grace and healing by the Adagio. And last pick, this is the Rhyme.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the first rhyme we've seen in the tournament for today.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why you would always pick a rhyme is that if you before in 3v3, you always pick a rhyme when your opponent has a mass amount of melee heroes. And since there is the Fortress who kind of just dives right into the backline by having so much movement speed, having the rhyme as well kind of counters that. So I think that's why they actually went for this this last pick rhyme. And
on the other side, we have here the last pick would be the Sky. Nice counter, but I think how do we utilize this? Let's see on the match right now.
Yeah, definitely. Something I also am very curious to see here is the Fortress. Fortress, I haven't seen, because like before I did see a lot of, let's say, Captain Fortress builds, but he doesn't seem to be as effective when you go for that path. So you kind of go for somewhat of a half captain, half jungle build, where you I think buy a storm crown first, so your Truth of the Tooth hurts gets more damage output. What's also good here is that Fortress inherently has a mortal wound skill, so that he can actually counteract the Grace's intervention, so that you minimize the amount of heal that comes out from that.
And also, one of the effective build on Fortress, it's on top of the scoring crown, it's the Aftershock, which can really deal burst damage as early on, and then following up with possible late game Rona. And let's see how Sync 1 will utilize this Malign.
Oh, there you go. Let's introduce our players here. Incarnation, Fade, Senior Pedro, Joyshu, and Ezret for Team Impale.
On the other side, we got Megamind, Stephen, Pablo Escobar, Wayham, and Sync 1 at the side of Bren Esports.
Yeah, this is Bren Esports again. I believe this is the roster of Bren that is a mixture of Filipinos and Cambodian, I think?
Cambodian.
No.
Alright.
I actually can't hear.
Alright.
Pure Filipino now? Oh, okay. I thought it was like a mixture before. Okay, so this is the Pure Filipino lineup. My bad, guys. In any case, it's gonna be the Crystal Treant stolen here, but Senior Pedro will be also stolen by his Crystal Treant.
It's just a fair trade of the Crystal Orb. Now not really trying to dive in. Fady is just poking William here.
Fade will be a solo Grace in the top side. I'm just very curious about that. He is going to be building up maybe to a tension bow. Did go for the Book of Eulogies, but we have seen solo lanes go for that just for the sustain of it, because without the Book of Eulogies, you don't really get that much heal back. But like if you can hit minions or your opponents continuously, it does have a world of difference.
And meanwhile here, Grace.
Yeah, I mean, level 1, not really the best, especially against a forward barrage Wayam. If you're in the pathway of that skill shot, it's just gonna be easy shreds all day long.
Let's see how they will answer back here in the middle game, especially Sync 1's Malign. Knowing Sync 1, he really excels in the mid lane. Any mid lane heroes that he uses, he really do it well, especially like we have Celeste or this Malign or a Idris. He really excel on those heroes.
It's kind of curious though. I remember Sync 1 being a captain? What? Jungler. Yeah, jungler. There you go. Why do I remember him being a captain? Maybe it's another one. I am... Yeah, both. Okay, that's the reason why. You know, I'm pretty bad with history. That's why I fail. I failed my history during high school. Just kidding there. But yeah, I do mix it from time to time. But just a little bit of extra info. We confirmed it. Sync 1 before was known for his captain and
now he's in the mid lane.
Yeah. Setting up, just changing it up.
Looking at the Arden by Steven here. We'll be probably building directly for a damage like you usually do when you're using Arden.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid of either weapon power or crystal power together with tanky items.
It's like it's the shifting of like the bruiser build. You don't see too much before, like on the Halcyon Fold, the 3v3 map. We didn't really see too many like half hybrid builds. It's more of like you stick to what you already started with, but with the manifestation of Sovereign's Rise, there have been more and more players and even heroes who kind of like can use that certain type of I guess build path.
Alright, so they're just trying to poke down here Ezret, but doesn't really do here. Senor Pedro will be trying to jump out, but didn't work. So on the other hand here, we have a Vox on this one against a Arden. It's having a hard time together with a
oh, there's gonna be Celeste actually in very grim positioning, and that's gonna be the case as the Rona shuts him down. Ezra trying to run away here, but the gap close from Team Impale, and rather Bren Esports, is gonna be a bit too much for him. Arden, or rather the Adagio, does give him enough heal, and he escapes by the skin of his teeth. Pablo Escobar and other members of Bren here on the mid lane, dangerously low, so they gotta back off. But Stephen in the bottom lane, again having that Arden every couple of seconds can go for the dive punch is definitely hindering this Vox from keeping himself, adamant or dominant in that bottom side lane.
Exactly, and we are now past 4-minute mark, which means the turret is now exposed. There is no initial shield of that one, so really the pound for pound will pack a punch in this kind of situation.
Arden has already bought up to the Storm Crown, so it's going to be very interesting how the Vox will survive. Unless Team Impale do put bodies there to keep him alive, he should be in a world of hurt. Nice reflex block there for Megamind as he does not get crowd controlled by that. Fady is very low on HP here. 4-man stack for Bren, and they are dead sight, or deadlock, lock on to this top lane. But there's going to be a rotation here from Team Impale.
They need to be careful here. Too much diving, and they escape out of the harm's way.
On the other side, it's gonna actually leave a little bit of the members here of Team Impale to actually get some farm, but Celeste will be rotating. This could be a good flank for her, but Wayam, level 6 already with that forward barrage, actually chips down quite a bit of the members here of Team Impale. Bottom lane wise though, Joyce is actually super low, and Stephen, again with that Vanguard, with that gap close from him, he is just well equipped to deal with a early game Vox.
Bren Esports may also be mindful of the Celeste after he hit level 8 or the overdrive or Helogenesis, which can really hurts a lot, especially if you're in a spot, really tight spot. Add Rhyme to that picture and it will be game over for that.
Definitely nice. I would say like backstab from the Valkyrie of Incarnation, but he still is, or rather Sync 1 will be able to escape. Sliver of HP left on that guy. Celeste not committing to a level 6 Solar Storm, so he has no ultimate. That could have actually been a kill towards the fortress, so not really sure why you wanted to go for that, but maybe just because there's no real bite to the level 1 Solar Storm. But I think, you know, that global range still can help for final like last hits, like a last hit skill or something. Dive underneath the turret though. Fortress, very low.
Almost. And on that side, maybe Senor Pedro's considered overdrive the Helogenesis as soon as possible.
Yeah. Maybe he misclicked because level 7 he immediately gets his ultimate there.
Look at that quick damage. Now Wayam is chunking down here. Ezret, the nice heal by himself.
Oh no, that's good. That could be a kill. Doesn't want to go underneath the turret though. Maybe he could have actually gotten something there. 2v2 into the bottom lane. Pack attack activated here by Pablo Escobar, but he uses it just to back away. Incarnation forces them back. The power of the Rhyme shows itself, but that's not what we want to see right now as we transition into the top lane. Wayam is just putting so much work into that one, and because of that, Bren opened up a should be easy to get Ghost Wing, as Stephen is going to be trying to bully out Josh Yu here on that weapon tree and camp.
I don't think Team Impale is just looking at the Ghost Wing.
Yeah, they're probably not aware of that.
Not aware of that anyways. And there we go. Ghost Wing has been captured.
A gauntlet cherry on top on that Ghost Wing.
Just making sure.
Yeah, pit.
Just making sure and anyone cannot jump in when they contest it.
True enough. And I mean, looking at the net worth here, almost 22,000 to 26, a 4K gold lead for Bren. And checking out the items as well.
Look at that dive by Megamind. A quick kill.
This Vox has not gotten any love from Team Impale at all. Maybe just a little bit of help, but at the end of the day, not really what you wanted to see. Rhyme will be able to win that duel because he's Rhyme. He's going to be able to just sustain himself in the fights, and it's something scary. But at the end of the day, losing a Vox, and as you can see, his CS is dangerously low, 34 to the 49 against the Arden. It's really not a good indicator of what is his transition or control in the game.
I agree with the Rhyme, especially Rhyme rushed for an early Eve of Harvest, which gives him additional sustain on that one. Meanwhile, Pablo Escobar is in deep trouble here. Incarnation and Senor Pedro trying to chunk him down. The stun didn't hit, and with that Storm, Pablo Escobar will live for now.
I was talking about how this could be a kind of like hybrid tank build for Pablo Escobar, and it shows. He was able to just absorb so much damage while keeping himself alive to defend that mid-tier 1. There's going to be a lot of commitment to take this turret down, but I don't think they can anymore. There's no way right there, and Bren have already rotated to the mid lane. Wayam, though, in a 3v1 situation, putting out the forward barrage damage just to make sure that he can make it a little bit difficult for them. And there's going to be the Grace against the Arden. This should have been done a while ago, as now the Vox is already into the top lane, dealing, I believe, with the with the Sky.
Well, committing here in the bot lane, we have here Grace and then will jump inside with that red mist. Follow up there by Ezret with that Adagio. Sync 1 probably will live for now. Nice hiding there by Sync 1. Pablo Escobar will just also deal a chunk of damage here. Wayam is in deep trouble here. 1 kill, and also Vox will definitely go down. Ezret is being chunked by the red mist.
And this is the weakness of Team Impale. Once they already use their teamfight ultimates, they don't really have the right to actually follow up or chase down their opponents. They're very weak in chase scenarios, and it's gonna show. A quadra kill comes out here, but Bren actually loses that fight. What the heck just happened there? I think it was the Celeste who just got the backline damage, and she actually gets a penta. I think so, a delayed penta. Okay, I thought that it was going to be Bren Esports to win that duel because, again, Team Impale did not have the best chase comp here, but the comebacks from Senior Pedro, I mean, he is on a roll.
It's like we were talking about earlier, Incarnation is utilizing his lifesteal abilities or his sustain inside that fight together with the Grace, who is backing up here the Celeste. Senor Pedro secures a delayed pentacle.
Yeah, a little bit of the mispositionings there from Bren Esports, and they paid the ultimate price for that. Still does have a sizable lead against their opponents. They can reset after that one, but that did give a access for Senior Pedro to buy up into the Spellfire as well as the Clockwork, and I think he is already building up to a broken mid, so he's got to be careful. They got to be careful about that one. There's going to be the usage onto the intervention, and it seems like there's going to be another fight for the Rhyme here. 2v situation into the bottom lane, but it's got to back off. Grace uses his stun, but it seems like they will not be stopped at all. Rhyme does go for the root, and there is the Arden. Gets caught by the 3v1 with the help from the turret there, and smashes it once again. He will be able to survive, but into the top side we go. Adagio uses the ultimate, the Burst of Judgment, and he is super low. Gets caught off from the wayside, and now Celeste bursts it down, but gets caught in the process. 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Bren.
A lot of happenings. Meanwhile, here Megamind is in deep trouble here. Fady trying to chase him, but Megamind jumped out of the way.
And I mean, Stephen could die here.
No,
Incarnation! Oh, that's so close!
Almost.
Sliver. Fady is here as well. Incarnation, he wants to drop an ultimate there. The heal from the intervention, and Stephen has to just get on out of there. Use your boots, or use your feet, man.
There's a lot of happenings in that specific fight. Not really specific, but the whole map has a fight going on in the bot lane. I noticed that Rhyme lived from that jumping of Arden and the Rona, and in the top jungle part, again securing the kill. Meanwhile, here jumping inside, Megamind didn't use yet the red mist. And let's see how they will answer back. The wait for it has been connected with that. Saw a storm, and again, Team Impale just doing the job.
It seemed like Bren Esports kind of had, like, for me, they look like they had the upper advantage, but Team Impale here have been capitalizing on the weaknesses of Bren. And the biggest thing here that you got to take note is that Sky never really joins in onto the fight. He's the only one who has the Poison Shiv to actually counter out the healing from Team Impale, and without that, there's just a lot of sustain for Team Impale here. And due to that fact, Senior Pedro is free to actually just allow his teammates to absorb so much damage, still survive, and he can just pop out the the Skittles in the field. Now it left into a 3v1, but opponents are very low in HP. This could just be a cleanup crew, and Joyce Yu actually does the damage. William 1v1 against this Vox. Vox going from side to side, and they already shut down the Celeste. Even though there is Impale, showing strides here, they're also making some extension here that, well, Bren Esports are punishing, and it's gonna show once again right here, right now.
Look at that. Is that a tension bow, Proc? I think so.
Yeah, pretty sure it is. That was painful as heck. The Ghost Wing was being tried to capture, but she'll be able to run away. Fade and Josh Yu wanted to chase him down, but they just said to themselves, we can get this one. We're a 5-man team right now. We can definitely benefit from the extra shield of that objective, and that's what they do for it. That's what they go for, rather.
I agree on the Immortal Wound about the healing, and Sky is not yet inside. Meanwhile, here another fight in the pit. A nice block there by the team. Meanwhile, they've been chasing a lot of happening here inside the red mist on the bot side of the screen, and on the top side of the screen, the Ardent Stephen is having troubles here. It's kind of tight spot, especially this spot favors Prime.
Bam! And the death ball actually making it so difficult for Bren to make anything happen, only losing the Celeste on that one. That was a very messy fight. I mean, from what it looks like, Bren Esports would have been able to maybe have bursted down the Celeste from the get-go, but I think she had enough clockwork, or like enough items to have kind of staved off her opponents. Heliogenesis, Supernova pops, and then core collapses. There's like 2-3 members of Bren chasing her down, but at the end of the day, she just kind of like regroup with Team Impale, gets the heal from the Grace, and then it seemed like nothing happened. No damage came out from Bren.
And then again, Rhyme really favors in that fight, especially if you're really in the tight spot.
Yeah.
Especially an Eve of Harvest for the Rhyme. His life will just regenerate as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, though. It seemed like the other 4 members of Team Impale never really got into a fight. They were full HP on the rotation back into the behind the Ghostwing pit, and because of that, Bren will be fighting against a Black Clawed up Team Impale. They're very much in dire straits here. Their turret has gone down. So much heal coming out from Fady, and like I said, without the Sky kind of like dealing a consistent amount of damage to all members with the mortal wounds, it's going to be very difficult for them. But as I say that, they take away at the Rhyme, but at the end of the day, got to take the position of the Celeste, as she is just dealing so much damage into the backline. The Rona tries to actually chase her down, but again, it's just too difficult to be able to find the Celeste at all. Double kill as the Rona kind of like tries to go in for the dive, but pays the ultimate price against that. Sync 1v1, the Maline.
The burst damage by Maline.
The Princess showing us how it is done. Goes in with the dive, chases down onto Josh Yu, and cleans up house. Sync 1 gets the ace.
That's the ace again. For that fight, they are not really committing. Especially Blacklaw is still in the house. When Blacklaw is now attacking the crystal, they made their move. Sky is just running down here, and then the play is everywhere. The gauntlet is well placed. The fortress, the follow-up, is also good. And Sync 1 really dishing the burst damage.
I mean, there's probably another school of thought against a sustain comp. It's either you counter the sustain, or you just have so much damage that you can, you know, how do you say this, ignore the sustain that they have. And with the Maline, that could be the upside here for Bren, but they kind of line up for Senior Predator. I mean, you know, that's not what you want to happen here, and it's kind of showing the Vox as well with the Resonance. Multiple hitting targets there. Gotta back away. William is in no man's land. He will be obliterated as well. Stephen trying to run away for the best of his abilities, but he could actually still go down as Vox, hot on his tracks. It is pretty tanky. Activates a shield right there as well, but this is going to be a 4-man push into the Vein Crystal already. Maline is here defending with Stephen, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be game number 1 for Team Impale, unless they can counter it out. Do they have enough damage? This is going to be very close. And there you go, it explodes. Oh wait, no, not yet. There you go.
Now it explodes.
Now it explodes.
A real nice comeback by Bren Esports on the middle game. I'm sorry, Team Impale and that side. And looking at here, we got the Celeste doing her job and everything. And like the team composition wise, the map really favors Rhyme and Celeste, especially in tight places. And while Grace is luring them in, they are all clumped together. They'll do the job. Heliogenesis and the combo. Yeah,
there was just too much heal coming out from Team Impale there. I kind of forgot about like aside from the Rhyme, Eve of Harvest, and then the Grace, just pumping out the interventions, gotta remember that there's also that non-ultimate heal skill coming out from the Adagio, which just provides so much sustain. And with that in mind, there should have been someone else from the side of Bren that had mortal wounds, maybe to counter. I did say that they another school of thought to defeat a sustain maybe is to have enough more just so much damage that you can't sustain enough. But they didn't have that in time. It looked like it should have been the Maline, but maybe she could have actually just bought up a Spellfire just for the
Mortal wound.
yeah, the utility of it. But at the end of the day, they did not, and it kind of like bit them a little bit in the behind. So game number 1 will be going to Team Impale.
Really nice effort there on the game 1.
Yeah.
By especially Sync 1, I really like the transition after the fight. How Sync 1 peeled up everything. That is the open opportunity for them to possibly push the lanes, to push everything.
Yeah.
But the damage has been done. Blacklaw is raising havoc on the Vein Crystal, and they are forced to defend it for now.
Yeah. And, I mean, aside from all of that sustain, like I said, Rhyme just makes it so difficult for them to chase down. And Bren, he also said this, like every single time they kind of like force fights on areas wherein you're kind of in a tight corridor. Like you always get caught on these tight spaces wherein the Rhyme can just root you in, and then at the very end of that like area of battle is just the Celeste waiting to use a Solar Storm, and it shows it. Like we've seen like Solar Storm hit 3, even 5 people at multiple team fights. And now going into our second draft, maybe the Maline will finally not see the day of light, but well, she is still a possible pick here. Bren not actually opting to go for that, rather stealing the Fortress, getting the Fortress once again. Not sure.
Here comes the Scarf together with the Grace and the Arden. This is really dangerous together also with the Vox. On the other side, still the same, like it's other way around. They got here Adagio and the Celeste, and the Fortress has been locked in. And any thoughts on how or who will be their bruiser or jungler?
For Bren here, not really sure yet. They actually opt to go for the Kestrel. Is
this a good choice of Crystal in this lineup?
I think, yeah. I think it is. They have so much range with this composition that the lineup of Team Impale here kind of doesn't have too much effect against the supposedly shouldn't have effect on the Kestrel and Celeste. The Catherine, just to make sure that nobody makes that possible. But a good answer here for Impale would be to find a dive in the backline. They were kind of thinking about the Celeste, or the Alpha, but I think a Glaive kind of makes more sense because you have that initial afterburn potency already at the start of the fight. Because like Alpha still needs to build up her items to make something of herself, but the Glaive does not go around the same thought process. So yeah,
it's like as early as level 1, Glaive can really make a change, especially in invades in the jungle. Like he had level 1 afterburn. Level 1 afterburn, it hurts in the early get-go. Together with the lineup of a Grace and an Arden, this may be difficult to brand esports. Especially they don't really have someone who can possibly disengage except the Catherine.
Yeah, but there's also that disengage potential, I would say, from the Fortress. You kind of give your teammates extra movement speed so that they can try to run away from the fights. Aside from Fortress being a type of like snowball dive hero type of deal, he can actually just give teammates as well like that space potential with the mobility. In any case, a Catherine Fortress roam is gonna be devastating.
Yeah, especially Catherine. I just predict she will do E-Storm Crown as early as possible, like securing an early damage, really chunks decent amount of damage. Also, Pablo Escobar is now switched here with the Adagio. Let's see how they will utilize it. Again, this second game, Bren Esports versus Team Impale. Incarnation
buying up onto a double weapon blade here, so he's really going for as much damage in the start as possible. And I don't know if Spell Sword is still the way to go for the Glaive, but I think it's still a viable option. We might see that, or maybe even a Tension Bow Sorrow Blade build.
Early Tension Bow will be viable to Incarnation as of the moment, but let's see here. They're just going to contest this Crystal Treant. Meanwhile, look at that damage being dealt by Wayam together with Pablo Escobar. And who got the Crystal Orb? Oh, Pablo Escobar secured it.
He's going to be able to use that to spam out the heals for Sync 1. And Sync 1 also got himself a crystal buff, so that's going to really deter Grace in the mid. Not even sure why a Grace is actually in the mid against a Adagio and a Celeste. Going to be a very difficult matchup to kind of go up against. And bottom lane wise, it's going to be Fady against a 2v1 as well. So that's going to leave, I guess, the jungle option. No, it's just going to be again the rotations of Bren.
Exactly, and as you were saying earlier, Senor Pedro is just late to the party because he was slow earlier. He is also in the mid lane. And looking at statistics as of the moment, meanwhile, there's a little fight here. Ezreal and Pablo Escobar just exchanging blows and skills. With that stun, Ezreal will live for now.
Pablo Escobar is in a world of hurt. The Scarf kind of like went back into the lane and is now wreaking some havoc. One more shot on that fireball could mean life or death for Pablo Escobar. But as Sync 1 joins in back onto his side on the mid, that will at least allow Pablo Escobar to heal back up onto base. Wayam on the other hand kind of going back right into base. Just to buy up onto the boots. Smart decision as he is going to be fighting against the Arden. Definitely want to have as much mobility as you can against that leaping
pound for pound Arden.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
leaping dude.
Meanwhile, Incarnation, we didn't see any Afterburn ganks yet. Or will we? As of the moment, meanwhile, top on the other side, Megamind trying to with this healing threat.
Oh, the steals. Goes in with the Afterburn, delivers it into the bracing hands of Josh Yu, and he is trying to run away. Activates the flash right there, and Megamind is doing the best that he can to keep them in check as Incarnation is a bit too greedy right here. Ezreal will be right on the sides, but Pablo Escobar joins in onto the fight, keeping this, Glaive alive. Ezreal goes in with the final shot, but Stephen, of course, Stormguard, able to absorb so much damage. Wayam on the other hand, bullying out Fady here. So the different, I guess, matchup, compared to like the Arden Vox. This Arden Kestrel is kind of like giving Kestrel a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the problem that Bren Esports may face, it's Senor Pedro's Fireball together with a Goo. Both of the combo, especially if they're inside the gauntlet together with Ezreal going inside also. On this side of Bren Esports also, let's see, Incarnation. It's not really Josh's shoe.
It's going to be the rotation into the bottom lane as we see Ezreal diving right in, but immediately gets pushed out. But Wayam uses that glimmer shot, using the range, the harass, just to push them out. At least that is going to be the support for the Arden. And rotation-wise, it's going to be the Glaive somewhere in the mid. But as you can see, this Adagio has been babysitting Sync 1 for the longest time, making sure that he gets to that point where he's going to be very, very devastating.
And meanwhile, yeah, like you said earlier, on the other side of Bren Esports, like Wayam is building for, I think there's an early Sorrow Blade for Wayam, and also we talked about earlier, Sync 1 really excels in the mid lane. He can also pop up for the level 8 Helogenesis Overdrive, together with the possible sustain by Pablo Escobar and Stephen going inside. He may deal a decent amount of damage in a team fight.
Megamind's right here, but he is below half HP. Doesn't really want to dive right into the fight, as he could actually be in a world of hurt. One more smash does not connect for the wait for it. Actually just dodges it in the nick of time. Pablo Escobar right here on the sidelines. Level 4. He does have the heals, so that's going to push them out for the meantime. Sync 1 very close to his overdrive Helogenesis, so that's going to be a spike that Bren can definitely use in their favor. And 6 minutes into this game, we haven't seen a single kill yet from both of these teams. Left and right punches, but no kills just yet.
I just saw also on the top lane, Incarnation going inside with the Afterburn. I didn't see the Afterburn push in action.
Yeah, so it might have been they burnt the duration of the Afterburn push as he was stunned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, could have been. Senior Pedro though there gets engaged upon by Megamind, activates the attack of the pack, and that's going to be the re-engage here for Bren. Immediately using a defensive gauntlet, but still this Arden, or rather Ezreal, is dangerously low, super low. In fact, the Illusion will not connect, but it seems like Megamind has something else in plan in mind. Leaps right in and takes down that Grace. Top lane wise though, there's going to be Stephen in a 2v1 here, but the box very safe against that matchup. Now they're looking to go for this Ghost Wing, but gotta be careful as Senior Pedro can still go in with the fire groups and just push them out of position. Sync 1 rotating to the top, probably getting a healing Triad just to keep himself healthy. So yeah.
Like looking here at the Megamind's item, we have here in an Aftershock. So it will really deal a decent amount of damage, and the early get-go.
My gosh.
A turret has been secured, a nickel for a moment there, keeping Megamind alive.
Bren is starting to get a little bit of the foothold in this game as we see them having a 3,000 gold advantage. No real objectives yet taken by Impale. They could maybe force a team fight somewhere and claim a turret, but for the meantime they're just saying nope, we're just gonna keep on farming, stop Bren from overextending onto our jungle, and Bren really not doing that. They're more of like just trying to rotate around the lanes here, and after all of that, still only 1 kill comes out.
And then again in the mid lane, they are now trying to group up. Possible of team fight, especially Incarnation is now rotating, but they maybe choose not to. Meanwhile, Wayam and Fady. Wayam is bullying Fady as of the moment.
One more shot, 1 kill.
Boom! Nice follow up with the 1 shot 1 kill.
He could not sidestep that. It was a bit too quick for him to deal with. There's going to be Ezreal spotting out the scout camp here. Attack of the pack just to push out the members of Impale. And ooh, no such luck for the Catherine as she goes down. But the cost for that is the Ghost Wing here for Bren Esports. Now, Senior Pedro could be a little bit caught out there, but this is going to allow Wayam and Megamind to actually split push into the bottom tier 2, already breaking it. So that's going to be a big advantage for Bren. Atlas Pauldron bought up by the Catherine, so definitely a good slow tool there for her to use in later fights.
Yeah, as you also said earlier, the box dive and Catherine on the top lane. But on the price of that one, Josh also paid the price. He also died in that fight.
Senior Pedro.
Look at that.
Gets 4 out of the 5 ticks of the Solar Storm. They're really going to be engaging here onto Wayam, and he does go down, but this could have been maybe the catch-off onto Team Impale. As you can see, members of Bren are just delighted to go for this team fight. Pablo Escobar, though, will not be able to save his comrade. The Fortress does go down, and as I say that Bren Esports wanted to go for that fight, delighted to take the fight to Impale. They might have overcommitted and overextended themselves as well. Pablo Escobar did not have the Verse of Judgment, so he won't be able to absorb damage and, you know, tick back against his opponents.
Like Pablo Escobar know what is going on or what will happen, so maybe he just stick inside three man here. And yep, Ezreal, like they are really utilizing how Ezreal engaged in the fight. And for that last fight, Fady with again a defensive gauntlet, but it caught up the rest of the team.
Tornado Trigger for Wayam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's a tornado trigger. Oh, that's another ultimate hit.
Like, even though there was a fight that, you know, Impale kind of like won a little bit, it's still Bren who have been getting all of these turrets. 3 turrets to none against Bren, and again, it's really difficult when you can't get those back, because it's just so much control on the map given to your opponents.
Here we go, the Wolf Pack has been called here at the middle lane for the Fortress. Megamind is just inside the fight. That burst damage by Senior Pedro is doing the job.
Where is the Solar Storm? Sync 1 can actually use that right now and maybe even get 1 to 2 kills already, but he is staving off his hand, saying to himself, we don't need the kills just yet. We can actually just commit and use it for maybe a later fight, but he gets caught out by the Afterburn. A 1-for-1 exchange definitely in favor. Could it be a 2-for-1 as the Gauntlet actually stuns in Pablo Escobar, and he, the Adagio, finally gets caught out once again. And Impale, maybe they can transition this into a Ghost Wing?
Yeah, Ghost Swing.
Or, sorry, a Black Claw?
Black Claw will be up in 4
Oh, no.
minutes.
Yeah. Okay, not yet. 15 minutes. I keep forgetting that. But yeah, Ghost Wing definitely something that they can use.
Like, they are now utilizing Senor Pedro's damage inside the team fight. That will really benefit them. But they only, like, one of the things that Senor Pedro will have in mind, it's Megamind who will jump into him, like that one. Ezreal has been caught up, trying to chase Ezreal with that block and that divine intervention.
Target selection here from Josh, correct, but I think it's a little bit too late. 1-for-1 exchange though, so that's not really the worst thing for Impale to happen. They kind of overcommitted onto that one, but now as the Afterburn comes out from this glaive, the chase is on, and you can see the damage. This Vox starting to show his fangs, but he kind of overcommitted. Might be out in no man's land, but his mobility keeps him safe from the fight. Now, as you can see, 1v1 into the top lane. The Arden versus the Catherine, and Arden cannot really do too much. That Stormguard really making it difficult for Fady to make anything happen at all.
Like,
and
they have the almost same item, but really Stephen is doing the job here, especially he have the shield or the protection. I forgot the name, sorry. But here we go, Josh is in big trouble here with that one.
Oh, 1-for-1 though. A shutdown as well.
Maybe he jumped in and Sync 1 catches 3 attacks at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. But the most important thing there is that it was a 1-for-1, not a 1-for-0.
Have to be in trouble here. Stephen is just luring out here at the top lane, but he is alone.
Attack of the Pack activated there, so Ghost Wing will actually be taken here by by Bren Esports. Impale, on the other hand, really committing to this top side, burning him with the Dragon's Breath from Senior Pedro, and they get it. There is
the black
Solar
claw.
Storm just to check the Black Claw there. Wayam in a 1v1 against Josh Yu. He's got to be careful that those Glimmer Shots do not connect onto him, and he does, and he eliminates his opponent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this is the new update. Black Claw is now up. I think it's
Earlier?
It's out earlier.
Yeah, must be the new update then.
I think it's 10 minutes or 11 minutes.
Haven't read it yet, so
Same.
it's my bad.
It's still, I'm still in mind about the 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But the most important thing here, going back into the game, is that Impale is slowly but surely getting momentum back. Even though there's a 6,000 advantage for Bren, at the end of the day, it's the Vox that's starting to actually ramp up onto the fight. As that heal again allows this Glaive to actually keep himself sustained up into this clash. And do you see that this Vox destroys members left and right? Sync 1 is still kind of healthy into the fight there. Gets pushed back by the Afterburn. Could be a mistake used or done there by the Glaive. Could have cost them the fight for Team Impale as they back off. There's so many healthy heroes from Bren Esports that they had to just evacuate from there at all. Attack of the Pack was activated here, so the chase is on. Senior Pedro could be spotted out there, but he does escape. Tries to run away. Joshi Yu does get chased by the Wolves, and he shouldn't be able to escape this one.
Ooh, shut down. I think the fight will benefit Team Impale if Fady have the gauntlet up. But this will lead Bren Esports this Black Claw.
Senior Pedro, it all goes down to him. Can he go for the steal on that Black Claw? No.
Unfortunately, Megamind caught the fireball.
Could not activate the tick of the fire group, so that's going to be Black Claw pushing in onto the mid. Bren saying that you guys, you got the damage, you got the Catherine a while ago, but at what cost? You chipped you too hard, too good. Now fight ensues into the mid lane. This might be the last fight for Team Impale. If they can't get this could be a straight push into the mid as they get caught up by the Solar Storm. 2 for the price of none. And as you can see, guys, Impale here trying to do the best they can in the top lane, but with 3 members, what can they do against a 6-man lineup from Bren? I'm saying 6 because they have a Black Claw in their arsenal.
It's like like what you saw earlier, the Solar Storm hits two at the same time. The Fading really plays a vital role in the fight. Meanwhile, there's the stun by the Adagio, and Incarnation will definitely go down on that one. Another Solar Storm has been wasted. Pack, there's the Wolf Pack has been called, but the Black Claw is just chunking the Vein Crystal. Another kill for that one. Oh, triple kill!
They're still alive in this.
They have still the dream up. Pablo Escobar is a bit of trouble here. Let's see, he will be surviving. Nope, a possible quadra kill. A delayed quadra kill.
Yeah, so that Black Claw will not be able to destroy the Vein Crystal, but it is dangerously low here, and Bren Esports are gonna be up and running. Ghostwing will be their next objective, and if they do actually have the extra shield from Ghostwing, it's gonna be very difficult for Team Impale to deter them from getting that Vein Crystal. So maybe the play here is to counter that, while at the same time, or steal that first, while at the same time keeping in mind that there could be a journey or a teleport boots play into the main base of Impale.
It's like for me, Josh might be utilizing his before that one. The Ghostwing has been captured.
Oh my gosh!
That's an almost secured by Sync 1. Like I was saying earlier, Joshi, or I just call him Josh. Maybe he will utilize his mobility to just jump in and out in the fight, especially have I forgot the name of the item though.
Which one?
The attack speed. Sorry, I forgot. I just want.
Poison Shift?
Yeah, no, the other one. Breaking Point. That's
breaking
a breaking point.
Ah, okay.
That's a breaking point. Utilize the stacks of the breaking point, and then we'll jump inside. And like we saw earlier, Senor Pedro 6 great 4 kills.
This is gonna be maybe the comeback for Team Impale. A 6,000 gold lead really isn't the biggest thing anymore here, but that Ghostwing buff will definitely give them advantage. Bren Esports knows this and are threading carefully on, you know, uncharted waters, so to speak. They know that if Team Impale didn't have that extra shield, maybe they can go for it, but with it, they definitely can't. So they're gonna try to at least go for a pick off right here as Fade gets caught out, activates the gauntlet, and now here they come. They get the catch off on the Sync 1. This is gonna be big. If they can actually burst him down, this is gonna be a catch off for the Century for Team Impale, but they will get into the tightness of that alleyway, and they get caught out straight from the get-go. Joshi Yu here into the backline, but he is getting bombarded by the skill shots of Bren, and we are going to be seeing a game number 3. Only Senor Pedro to actually remain here. The mid is already exposed, so this is going to be a very easy catch-up for them. An ace as well, so they're going to get the heal from that, I believe. And William already starting to get down at that Vein Crystal.
I think the play that really cost them, it's the early gauntlet. So maybe Fady waited for Senor Pedro or Ezra to be inside, delivered the burst damage, Senor Pedro doing the job, Josh with the resonance jumping in and out. Maybe that will turn things around, but they let Sync 1 do his job again.
The biggest, also the other thing there was like after the gauntlet was used and everybody else from Impale was rotating, right? They got the catch up onto Sync 1. Sync 1 immediately went up to the top side of the lane, and everybody else from Impale went through that opening. But that opening was already where, you know, where Bren was ready and waiting for, and they kind of just went through a meat grinder, and it kind of just, you know, put them to a position wherein, even though they're getting closer and closer to Bren, they were getting too much free damage from Bren as well.
Exactly, and also the cat on that moment, a well-timed blast tremor also hindered Team Impale to possibly burst down like Sync 1. Sync 1 live on that fight. So yeah, again 1-1 for this series of Team Impale vs Bren Esports. Again, this is the Mobile Esports Arena Vainglory 5v5 tournament for the month of April. Again, this is not only locked for Philippine users or Philippine players. We're open for Southeast Asian players at Singapore, Cambodia, Indonesia, and Thailand.
All of those countries and more, as we are about to go into our third game of the tournament, I believe. It's crazy how I thought really that Bren would have, you know, gotten Team Impale, but Team Impale are showing up Bren here and have a really big possibility of getting into the finals.
Exactly, and really, they're still fighting for the name, especially Team Impale. And what is the former team of Team Impale? The former name? Thanatos. That's Thanatos Esports before. And I think this two teams have a rivalry with each other.
Yeah.
Casting other games from previous months, they have a blood boil on each other. And they are fighting for the 20,000 pesos first prize in this tournament. Second place will be 15, third place will be 10,000. A lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of moolah here for these teams. Not only the glory of, or the bragging rights against your rival team, but also the sweetness of that prize.
And yep, again, this tournament is organized by Bren Pro. And you can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/mobile Esports Arena. You're watching us on Twitch, twitch.tv/mesoofficial, and highlights of the plays or of your favorite teams or champion spotlights it's at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/mesoofficial.
Yeah, and pretty excited to see how Game 3 will actually unfold, wherein we saw compositions kind of like, say, I believe game number 1 similar compositions. Game number 2 was somewhat of a melee composition for Impale, and then for Bren is more of the
Bursty or something.
yeah, the kind of artillery type of composition, which was crazy. So we're just waiting for game number 3 to start. And hang on.
Right, again, this is a bloodbath. Not really bloodbath, a blood boil between the two teams. And like we casted the games for. There are no series that this team will go into a 2-0 deficit. They always go for 1-1, proving their best on whose team is better.
Yeah.
So yep, we're waiting for the third game, and you'll be starting shortly.
And whoever actually wins this best of 3 semifinals will be going up against the winner of the other semifinals match, which is Elite 8 versus Chui or Tsuyu, whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it.
Chuyu.
Yeah, Chuyu. So that's gonna be pretty or something to look forward to. I mean, out of these 4 teams that I've seen, Team Impale are the ones that I don't have the much knowledge on.
It's like Team Elite 8 is known for the participation in the Vainglory Worlds. Also, Bren Esports, one of the known teams here in the Philippines. And on the other side, Team Impale is a former Thanatos Esports.
Yeah.
They are also known as one of the best teams here in the Philippines, fighting neck and neck with their for one of the best teams.
Yeah, and Bren Esports, one of the teams that actually actively play on Southeast Asia tournaments, not only on the Philippines scene. And my goodness, I'm not sure how I actually have a cold right now, which does feel pretty bad, but you know, can't let that get in the way of casting, as these games are pretty exciting. Are we about to start our third game? Yes, so let's get underway for the drafting and see how this will unfold. Will it be Team Impale or will Bren Esports come back out on top? Team Impale, or rather both of these teams, like Y2K said, teams at each other's throats, not in a like grudging way, but more of like a competitive way, as they are definite competitors.
It's like they are facing each other in certain tournaments, and yep, who will rise in this series 1-1? It's still Team Impale versus Bren Esports. We'll be commencing in just in any second now.
Yeah. So if you guys are also like interested to see, if you're questioning do you actually also stream like your games?
Vainglory, not yet. I didn't set up yet my Vainglory stream, but you stream.
Yeah, I do. I'm asking you first, because you have like a while we're still waiting, maybe you can tell the viewers if they're interested to watch your content, like YouTube channel or Twitch channel.
Yeah, my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/standiny2k. I do really random stuff, random games, whatever it pops up to my head, I'll just play it. And we have here Azarai, one of the Twitch partners Twitch partner. That really also I wouldn't call it variety streamer, but he will just going on the flow.
Yeah.
What he will play.
Azarai twitch.tv/AzaraiPH. Now, checking it out, Taka and Fortress taken away here from the board by Team Impale. Gets the Arden first pick, and on the other side, Bren takes away at the Celeste and the Caution.
Let's see, the auto lock here, Arden and Adagio, answered back by Bren Esports. They are hovering earlier Varya. Sync 1 is really good at playing Varya. Let's see, Josh is hovering the Baron. It's the long time that I'd see Baron in competitive play.
The reason why Baron isn't as good anymore is that I feel like his damage comes out too slow. Even though he does have insane per shot damage output, the consistency of it isn't like when you compare it to like a Vox or a Kestrel, it's not as good, or even a Sky. So he's not really, you know, as favored, so to speak.
Baron is like an Idris, but in another way. Like he needs to hit a certain threshold of attack or weapon power or crystal power to fully utilize his skills.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think they kind of want to bet with that. And like you said, Sync 1 known for his Varya plays, and they picked Varya for this third game. Maybe bringing out a little bit of the preview, let's say, of a maybe a set strategy here for clutch games. And this is definitely a clutch for them. If they lose this, they are already out of the tournament.
Let's see, Wayam didn't pick anyone yet. What's happening? And again, on the other side, they got Finn. It's been a long time since I saw Finn in competitive play.
I really don't like first rotation Finns, because there's a point where in a Finn, especially on Sovereign's Rise, the reason why Finn isn't really seen on Sovereign's Rise is that he does not have enough mobility. He does not excel on areas that have too big of a range. So, and he's kind of a one-trick pony. You have to get your Force Accord in, or be actually in range of your opponents to have the crowd control. And once you don't get that, he kind of becomes a little bit useless. So he's more of like a niche hero, depending on the your opponent's composition, exactly. And having this, especially against a Varya who has like how many dashes? Double dashes. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to actually chase her down. And again, an Adagio Grace, so much sustain. You might as well go for someone who inherently has a boatload of mortal wounds before anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And again, there you go. And we are back in the lobby and start again. And they picked Samuel. Also answered back with the Varya. Samuel would just kite in Varya, and if proper Finn initiates, like especially the anchor hook, like it will take place in the hook and the Oblivion with a gauntlet inside. Possible combos, but we see here a Varya. Varya is really mobile. And together with a Grace, together with a Adagio, sustain and damage at the same time.
Yeah. Well, Samuel, I think, is more of a supplementary pick. Maybe you can like Force Accord into the Oblivion, or Oblivion then Force Accord. That's gonna be something that they can use on Team Impale side. But I think the reason why they went for the Samuel is just he's such a safe solo lane that you can actually leave him, and he's one of those heroes that you kind of don't want to leave as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like we saw a game a while ago wherein there was a Gwen who was left to her devices. She got a boatload of farm, but once she got into the team fights with her squad, it really didn't transition into anything good. So like when you look at the Samuel, it's different. Like when he goes by himself, he farms by himself, and he joins the team fight, he actually has a lot of impact because he has the crowd control, he has the multiple target damage, and it's gonna be very difficult to deal against that. And what it seems like Bren Esports' name of the game here is sustain and mobility. You get yourself the Varya, you get yourself the Sky.
Yep, exactly. And answering back, Team Impale with a Rona and with an Idris. I think this is still a weapon power Idris. What do you think? Or a crystal power? Or depends on the needs of the team. What do you predict? Weapon or a crystal? Oh, you're right. This is the mobility team. Bren Esports pick together with a Glaive and the Sky with the Varya.
I think it's gonna be a crystal power Idris, because sustained damage more than burst is gonna be crucial here for me. Because I don't think they'll they'll have enough burst to catch off the Adagio and Grace heal. And you don't build an Idris with Poison Shield. I'm just saying, like, if you go for the weapon power just to get the mortal wounds, you don't build him with Poison Shield if I'm not mistaken. You go for as much damage as possible, right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't make any sense. But if he actually goes for the Crystal Power route, he could maybe opt for a Spellfire or something just to get that, again, utility. So possibly that. And they already have the Rona, so I think the Rona is gonna at least how do I say this, kind of be at that weapon power department. Be the weapon power department here for Team Impale. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, here for our best of 3 series for the semifinals. Again, Team Impale versus Bren Esports. Who will come out on top as we go into the Sovereign's Rise?
All right, we will commence right now. A nice view here at the top. So we'll introduce the players right now. Team Impale. We have Incarnation, Fady, still Senior Pedro, Joshu, and Ezra.
And of course, for Bren Esports, Megamind, Stephen X, whichever you want to call it, Pablo Escobar, Wayam, and Sync1.
And who will be emerging on the game 3? We'll be finding out right now.
And whoever wins this will go into the finals. Keep stressing that. We're definitely going to be stressing that out. In any case,
and we'll be securing at least 15,000 pesos. For the prize. And let's see here, Bren Esports is just going to get this Crystal Crown, and also with the same on the other side, Megamind is now trying to steal the Crystal, man, and nice pushback over there, and almost got the Crystal Orb. Megamind will secure the Crystal Orb. And meanwhile, on the mid lane, it's just the usual farming route here, and Bren Esports is wreaking havoc on the other side of the jungle.
And something you gotta keep in mind is, I guess, how this Finn will work. Like we saw a while ago how one of the teams were able to use it to full effect, but again, with a composition that has so much mobility, and once you have your reflex block already, or one of the captains gets a Crucible, your Force to Core doesn't have as much impact as you would think it does. But we have seen builds from captains, especially Finns, on 3v3 before, wherein they would go for, after their Crucible or after their Fountain, a Echo, which doubles your usage on that Force to Core. So maybe the Finns item route could be that, but we'll have to see, because I think that's just still along the lines of or way down the road of the game.
It's still like Finn will definitely go for that Echo build, I think, around mid game, especially.
We'll just have to see though. Might not be the most optimal, but he does actually catch off this Glaive, and this could be a shutdown onto Megamind. He's running away ever so slowly. My goodness, this is like when you watch the most action-packed kart police chase scenes. This is like one of those slowest ones ever. Like,
it's like stop over there.
Yeah, under 20 miles per hour kind of chase scenes, but still good in the hood. Azret, using his knowledge of the Finn, smashes it down against the Adagio, but doesn't really deal any damage or damage at all.
Notice Megamind whenever he initiates with the Afterburn, Azret would just jump in and cancel the second hit of the Afterburn, which really leads them to not really game-changing fact, but the capability of Megamind catching someone.
The slight interactions kind of help out to stop this Afterburn, always pick off type of strat. Gotta be careful there though, as Sync1 goes in with the dashes. Just electrifying coming in from him. Senior Better activates the Drifting Dark here just to get more out of his Malices and Verdicts, maybe to get some sustain. And Megamind as well as Stephen X bullying out Impale for the meantime. Incarnation very low in HP, but Ezra is right here, as well as Josh Yu, so they gotta be careful.
Also possible 4-man here, but Samuel will definitely not go inside that one. Incarnation will definitely go down in that fight, but a stoppage as of the moment. But what do you think will happen here? Is Stepen will live for now? Look at the damage that
No.
Mind and Stepen.
Bren actually got the weapon power buff. If it was Team Impale, I think that would have been the Rona to survive. So we just gotta wait what happens here. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Bren escaping with their lives there. It's because there's not enough damage for this Idris as of the moment. He is gonna be building up from what looks like to be a Crystal Power Idris. Only has the Book of Eulogies for the sustain. End of the day.
The Shattered Glass directly for
Yeah.
the activation of the Crystal Power perk.
Yeah.
So looking back here, Incarnation went down in that fight, not really utilizing his jump or something or his burst damage early on in the game. Mega Man countered it with the afterburn.
I wonder what happened here. Should be going back into game a while ago. Well, if anything like this happens, I think we're gonna. If the players disconnect, this might be a rematch. But we could just probably try to reconnect as our awesome observer will do just that.
Oh, I see. I'm hearing some sound effects.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some sound effects, so maybe we can check. Like, but before the camera is struck to us, and then I hear, the usual.
Maybe.
Maybe we are back in the game. Let's see. Again, for those who just tuned in right now, this is already the semifinals, road to finals for Bren Esports versus Team Impale.
Yeah.
And whoever wins this match, 15,000 pesos is already secured in their pocket whenever win or lose.
Yeah. And aside from all these prize cash, of course, and the glory of being called the champion for the April leg of the Mesa Vainglory Invitation or tournament, it's also a kind of like a good battleground for teams to actually test their mettle against opponents. Definitely, I mean, since I feel like there's a lack of Vainglory tournaments in Southeast Asia, it does at least allow a lot of these teams to kind of sharpen their fangs a little bit, keep their swords sharp or polished. So it's also something that they kind of can do here. And big shout outs, of course, to our viewers there on Twitch chat. Much love to you guys. I think we are already back into the game. So as we wait for the transition, beautiful. Let's see what has happened. 3-5, Bren Esports, and who? Oh, 3 kills on Team Impale are actually all on the Finn.
And meanwhile, top lane, the top turret has been destroyed courtesy of Bren Esports. They're now grouping up here at the jungle side. Whoever will dare pick up or something.
Stephen trying to run away here, but he's a tank. He can definitely get away from the clutches of that. And I mean, this is still kind of like a half and half type of match, that it's not still in the hands of Bren. But if you saw what happened on that previous game, it felt more of like a back and forth match. But this is feeling more to be a Bren match. A 6,000 gold lead already on their pockets. Josh Yu super low in HP, but he's gonna be able to maybe escape. But Sync One zaps him right in the back. What a guy!
It's like, don't run, I'll tase you.
Yeah.
It's like on the bot. This fight, not really that momentum.
Total bad manners, man. If someone's putting their backs behind you, you don't zap them. But
that happened.
This is Vainglory, where people get zapped ever so often. Sync One, the balls on this guy. I mean, a flask and the heal from the Adagio, maybe to bait out the Samuel, but he's like, nope, I know your shenanigans, I know your tomfoolery. What else is the weird the oldies way of saying crazy ideas, tomfoolery, shenanigans. That's all I got. Anyway, Sync One getting this mid-tier 1. Ezra does not have yet his ultimate, so he is gonna be all fine, or they're gonna be all fine and dandy, not gonna fear that Force Accord just yet.
Alright, so meanwhile here bot lane, Stephen and Josh is just trading blows here. Josh already secured a, not really Shattered Lance, but a Dragon's Eye to possibly activate the perk of the Crystal Power, which gives him additional range and everything. Also the damage, nice! A really nice afterburn, but there is no follow-up on the team. Ezret is also low on this one. Wayam trying to gun down Well, what happened? But look at the damage. Fady secured the kill.
Well, I'm thinking that Fady, or rather, yeah, Fady did not have enough damage there just yet, so he was waiting for his dive. But look at the burst onto Sync 1, over-committing underneath the tier 2 turret. So he gave up his life, but this is going to allow Bren to actually get the Ghost Wing uncontested. And of course, they got a kill onto Senior Pedro, who, funnily enough, his stats is 1, 2, and 3.
And like you said earlier, overcommitting, he jumped in inside the Oblivion proc, which gives him no chance to run away.
Maybe it could have been an over-the-wall steal from the Rona, but not in time. This is a Ghost Wing, so that's going to be a shield up and running here. Burst of Judgment activated. Pops a little bit, but doesn't really put too much hurt onto the members of Bren Esports. This is the DVT situation, but at the end of the day, it feels like it's going to be another Bren win here and now. So much AoE coming from them. Ezreal leaves himself to dry out. He has not a lot of ability, no more force to cord for him, so he's going to be easy cannon fodder there for team, or rather for Bren Esports. Wayam on the other side able to get the kill on Senior Pedro once again. 1v1 against Arden though, and I think Wayam should be able to escape from this one. Sync 1 joins in onto the fight, and he's like, you know what? You don't like invite me to your parties. I'm just gonna invite myself, and he gets a kill right then and there.
Exactly, and that's a really nice trade by Bren Esports on the bot lane, securing 3 kills by Megamind. And now, the price of that one, they will definitely push 2 turrets at the same time. Bren Esports, 15-7 on the scoreboard, almost 20,000.
Can almost taste that victory. But of course, Team Impale, you still have to be very careful on these guys. They have themselves quite a bit of a good comp already, lots of damage. But there it is, the Anvil activated here, as well as the Gauntlet putting themselves onto a Lightning Bolt. Double kill for Dabaria, make that a triple, and she is looking for the Quadra. Fady trying to run away here, but you just gotta look at the damage. Varia doesn't have the dash just yet, but she is. Oh, she's trying to charge it in. Nah, she was not able to actually activate it properly, and she kind of made a mistake on that one. Fady trying to come back here, but activates the dash off. Takes away at the mid-tier 3. Stephen trying to run for his life, but even if he goes down, the damage and the effectiveness goes into the hands of Bren.
Yeah, meanwhile, that's a really nice fight, to be honest. With inside the Gauntlet, you don't let Sync 1 dance over you with that Varia, especially if everything goes well in Sync 1's favor. He will dance out inside, use the Javelin for a quick kill secure, and Bren Esports is now hovering on this Black Claw.
Yeah. And Black Claw definitely. This is gonna be like, there are like a couple of Black Claw plays that you see, you know, something for just good push, but this is like a Black Claw for ending the game already. A mispositioned Finn blown up, but 25 seconds on the respawn timer, so he's gonna be at least back into the fight later on. But check this out. 4 members of Bren above level 10. Highest is Wayam with 12, and the lowest here, Ezreal, only 7.
Sync 1 is going to caught up on this one, but nice divine intervention there by Steven. Sync 1 another kill, and he's just chasing down here in the middle lane, and we got
my
Black
goodness,
Claw.
a total massacre. And Sync 1, look at the confidence plays, is actually dashing over the wall, chasing down players left and right, and this could be it. Holding on to the knife's edge, Team Impale tries to push back at Bren, but the damage is just too much. Bren actually looking at the members here, trying to just catch them off guard, and maybe just go for another ace play. Incarnation comes out from the fight, but Bren have had enough, and they're just smashing down onto this Crystal Vein, or the Vein Crystal rather. Ladies and gentlemen, going into the finals, it's gonna be Bren Esports.
A really nice play on that last fight, especially Sync 1 almost got peeled up on that fight. Nice.
Oh,
there's another kill before everything else.
Little bit of that OC. You know what? How you feel when you're supposed to sneeze but don't really sneeze. It's kind of like that feeling, and then you don't get the kill on the Samuel. A little bit of that feeling. Even though the game was finished, they kind of just wanted to get that 27th kill, but still, a GG already then and there.
Like, nice timing by the Grace and the Adagio, and saving Sync 1, dancing inside, and there's the Gauntlet, but the Gauntlet didn't do anything
Yeah.
in that last fight. Congratulations to Bren Esports. You will be advancing to the finals and you will be securing 15,000 pesos.
Following my final remarks, there was the Finn's positioning. Again, like I said, Finn doesn't have mobility at all, so he has to be very careful with positioning. Even though he has a lot of crowd controls, at the end of the day, when you're caught up like that, you're basically like a punching bag. And maybe it was Team Impale looking for a contest on the Blackwing, but because of how, again, they caught the Finn so easily, any chances of that just like went up to smoke.
And also Finn's perk, he doesn't really doesn't have an effect on crowd control.
Yeah.
But the downside of that one, he is silenced in that moment, so he can't do anything whenever he is caught up.
Yeah. So, well, that's about it. Our best of 3 for the semifinals is concluded, and well, actually we haven't had any updates yet on who will be fighting for the finals. Bren is just waiting up on the top. So, well, we're gonna take a very short break, and when we get back, let's see who's gonna be, fighting for that 20,000 pesos first place prize, and of course the title of champion for this April Mesa Vainglory tournament. My name is Asarai,
And this is Y2K. We'll be back shortly.